welcome back to my tutorial with Global Gaming Initiative on ideas and technologies in EU4. Last time we covered the administrative ideas and what they did and situations in which you might want to take them, along with what nations you might want to take them with. This time we'll cover diplomatic ideas and what they do when you want to take them, who you would want to take them with, where they would be good. So starting right off the top, espionage ideas. Espionage ideas, I'll tell you right off the bat, are amazing for smaller nations or medium-sized nations, taking down large empires nearby. Um, I'm talking like Venice trying to take down the Ottomans, or perhaps Hungary or Austria trying to take down Poland, Lithuania, trying to take down Muscovy. Basically any country that has either subjects under them or a large amount of varied lands under them. And that's going to be any situation in which someone is... If the aggressor would benefit off of humanist ideas, espionage ideas are the best way to counter them. So you can think of it like that. Privateers. Embargo efficiency, privateer efficiency. Personally, I don't use privateers that much. Because I generally don't play nations that require or have access to a lot of ships. Yeah, I could see it would be a pretty good bonus if, like, Venice was taking a lot of trade into their territory, but essentially, considering privateers waste the money going into that trade node, I mean, I could see where it would be useful, but definitely a very niche idea. Or bonus, I mean. Embargo efficiency plus 25% is great when you have a neighboring country that shares a lot of trade power with you in a trade node, like France and England in the English trade node, or the Netherlands if they get formed. That's going to allow you 25% increase, 25% increase in the amount of power that you have in the trade node when compared with embargo, and which is essentially just a nice bonus, especially if you share the node with your enemy. National spy defense plus 25%. That's pretty good for forcing enemies to be found out, and it slows down their ability to claim your land significantly. It is a good bonus. It's a good bonus, especially for larger nations if they were to take espionage ideas, and slowing down smaller nations that had espionage ideas. So it's kind of the counter to espionage. Within espionage. Rumor mongering may sabotage a reputation. When you send a diplomat to sabotage a reputation, you're constantly at risk of being found out. It's a constant debuff. Essentially, all neighbors and rivals of the person being sabotaged will get a minus 50 opinion of that nation. So if a good example would be if France and Aragon were allied, and you put someone to rumor monger in Aragon, and you put someone to rumor monger in France, there is a very high chance that that alliance would break off very quickly. It would put a lot more strain on their friendship. Efficient spies, giving you +1 diplomat and +25 spy offense. That's going to allow you to have more spies out, and especially with espionage ideas where you're spending a lot of time using diplomats to try and bring down a nation. They're going to be there constantly. They're going to constantly be providing these buffs or debuffs. That is almost necessary for the espionage idea tree to have. And the spy offense basically counters the spy defense. Just the offensive version of that. Definitely a great pickup. Shady recruitment allows you to study technology, and covert action relation impact is reduced. That's really good because if you do get found out, which is unlikely at this point, it's not going to mean that much to you, and if it was an ally, it's not the end of the world anymore. And it allows you, if you are at least 2 techs behind in any category, then you get a +1 bonus to that power per month. So that's really good if you're behind technologies, essentially. Destabilizing efforts that allows you to sow discontent and agitate for liberty. So discontent gives them a plus or a -3 to national unrest, or I guess it would increase national unrest by 3. And which is really good against the Ottomans if you sow discontent, and it can be coupled with supporting rebels. So if you support rebels and you sow discontent, you can have a +7 increase in unrest in those provinces. So definitely a good pickup, especially for a nation like Venice against the Ottomans. That's definitely where I see that coming in handy the most, by far. You could do it also if you were Lubeck against Denmark. The Agitate for Liberty increases liberty desire by, I believe, 25%. Yep, 25%. It slowly increases over time, so it's not like you put the diplomat there and it's a instant plus 25%. It's a very slow and steady increase. I would say I believe it takes about 2 or 3 years before it maxes out, but it can cause a nation that's large and subject to another nation like Lithuania or Sweden or Aragon if the Iberian wedding happens to search for allies and want to break free from its overlord. Espionage, allowing you to infiltrate administration. I think that's very underrated, personally. Do I think it's worth the keystone? No. But I think it's very underrated because that means that, say, I was at war France right now. If I was at war with Castile, I could see where all of their troops are at once, and I could use that to kind of move around and play off of Castile and where their guys are at. You know, I could lay traps, I could move around. If I saw them coming from a certain direction, I could move my guys in response. I think it's very underrated. Rebel support efficiency plus 50%. This is really, really good, and I will tell you why. 50% support efficiency in and of itself is a good pickup. However, there is a policy if you go with espionage ideas and you go with, I believe it is offensive ideas, that gives you an additional 50%. So that means you're essentially working at 200% rebel support efficiency. That means that you're going to be doing that +7 in all of their provinces if you're supporting the right enemies for incredibly cheap. So just a very good pickup overall. Espionage ideas, I think, are an amazing idea group right now. Diplomatic ideas. Diplomatic ideas, I think, get the short end of the stick along with maritime ideas in this tree because the bonuses they provide, while nice, are not worthwhile compared to what they're up against. So let's start. You get an additional diplomat. Alright, I mean, just cut and dry, you get an additional diplomat to do whatever you want with. Without espionage ideas, it's an okay bonus. Diplomatic relations +1. That's actually pretty nice. That means that you can have more allies and have less problems. Cost of reducing war exhaustion -33%. That's okay. Personally, I prefer things that lower war exhaustion passively, but I mean, it's a decent bonus. It's good for saving you Diplo points over time, especially if you have to use it a lot. Improve relations minus or plus 25% means you can increase relations faster, allowing you to move your diplomats around more, and it's a good bonus, especially if you're incurring a lot of aggressive expansion. I can see it, but if you're incurring a lot of aggressive expansion, you want to take influence of ideas anyway. Diplo reputation +2 means that if you have a lot of subjects, you're going to be able to integrate them into your lands very quickly. And the debuff that you get from incorporating lands isn't as severe. Province war score cost -20%. That means you're going to be able to take more provinces from the enemies in a single war. And then Diplo technology cost -10%. I mean, it's good, I guess, if you're a big seafaring nation. Lowered impact on stability from diplomatic actions. That allows you to break off royal marriages for only -1 prestige, and which is probably the only reason that makes Diplo ideas worth it. Would I do it for that? No. In almost no situation. I mean, the Diplo ideas are, in my opinion, never want to take them because there's always a better idea group for what they do. Trade ideas, completely centered around trade. If you're a nation like Venice, or if you're sitting at the heart of a big trade node, it's definitely a pickup that you want to make. Global trade power increases the amount of trade that you have overseas everywhere. Merchants +1 increases your merchants by 1 and allows you to pull trade and direct trade more effectively. Trade range +25%. Like global trade power, like trade steering, it's going to increase foreign trade tremendously without having any actual influence in the node. Trade efficiency +10%. That's going to reduce the amount of money you would lose just passively through trade. An additional merchant, well, that's basically the same as that. +25% trade steering. Even more of an increase. That means your merchants are more powerful. Caravan power +25%. All your overland provinces are more powerful towards trade. And an additional merchant, like those two. Basically, cut and dry. Although niche, is amazing if you can pick it up. Exploration ideas. Exploration ideas are great for nations like Portugal, Castile, England, France, Morocco, Norway, any country that wants to explore overseas and colonize and make land off of the new world, or make money and land off the new world. A quick rundown: an additional colonist for colonizing more. Recruitment of explorers and conquistadors, in which are required to explore the uncharted territory. Colonial range increase, in which is required to get the early game colonial range needed to get colonies in the New World. Global settler increase speeds up the rate at which these colonies grow. Tariffs allow you to extract more money from your colonies. Colonists, I mean, that's going to allow you to have an additional colonist. More colonies faster. Naval force limit modifier +25% means more ships, which means more trade, which means more control over the New World. And permanent casus belli against primitives. That will allow you to attack New World tribes for free. Basically, it's just a free casus belli on the New World. Maritime ideas. I see no... they're good, but they're not good enough to take over any of the other diplomatic ideas. They're tied with diplomatic ideas for being probably the most left out in their class. And here's why. So, yearly Navy tradition, good bonus. Light ship combat ability, good bonus. Global ship repair, it's an okay bonus. Naval force limit modifier, that's maybe going to make it worth it. Ship cost reduction, naval leader maneuver, blockade efficiency, and then ships can repair when in coastal sea zones. It's basically just a bunch of bonuses that are, aside from the land leader maneuver and naval force limit modifier, and maybe naval tradition, there are a bunch of bonuses that are going to be okay. I would only take it if I were like England, or the Netherlands, or Norway. Maybe Portugal. Maybe. But only if I had already taken Explo ideas and trade ideas, and I probably wouldn't take it over espionage or influence. So it's a very endgame, very niche idea group. I'd be very hesitant on when I take it. Influence ideas. The last idea in the diplomatic idea tree is centered around expansion and integration of vassals. So first you have tribute system. So that's income from vassals increased by 25%, means that they're going to be giving you more of their gold than they were already giving you. Nice bonus. Time to fabricate claims reduction minus 33%. That means that it's essentially a 33% reduction in the chance that you get caught, because it's taking less time, which means less time to get caught, since it's a year or a monthly chance to get caught. That actually makes it a pretty good bonus when you think about it. Diplo annexation cost minus 25% means that you can take more provinces cheaper. That's pretty good when you want to just take tons of land. And then the aggressive expansion impact minus 20%. Also very good when you want to take tons of land. Diplo reputation means that you're able to form alliances easier. You're able to integrate allies easier. If you notice, matches on the same tier. Diplomatic ideas, essentially rendering that invalid. Postal service, +1 diplomatic relations envoy travel time reduction. You would only take it for the diplomatic relations. You won't have a problem with envoy travel time, unless they're like overseas and a long ways away. Vassal force limit contribution means that you're going to get more of a force limit from having vassals. So yeah, it's a nice bonus, for sure. Unjustified demands, +50%. You can literally just take more in a war. You can annex tons more land with influence ideas, and it is better in almost every way than diplomatic ideas. You would want to take this, especially as someone in Central Europe, where aggressive expansion impacts are very high. You can take it as the Ottomans, where you're going to be expanding a lot. Take it as Muscovy, where you're also going to be expanding a lot and have a lot of vassals at the start of the game. You could take it as Castile, or France, or really anywhere in Europe, including Muscovy and the Ottomans, is going to make that a very nice addition. Also very nice in India, if you're going in India, because Indian politics mirror European politics very closely until they fall behind in tech. And then in my next and last video on my ideas and technologies tutorial, I'll be going over military ideas and when to take them, when to use them. This is a Global Gaming Initiative, signing off.